Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Jordy and I'm here to do a general tarot card reading for Scorpio Collective today. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting below, and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate all of your love and support. So we're going to use the This Might Hurt Tarot deck today. My favorite deck right now. Let's see what's going on for Scorpio. Keep in mind these readings are general, so they may or may not resonate with you. You can always check out a collective reading if you're waiting for your next zodiac sign to be posted. On the split, we have the Ten of Swords reversed and the Tower card. Wow. It's almost as if you've been kind of like, I don't know, like beaten down to like the bare minimum. You know, like with the Ten of Swords, that's when you've like experienced everything that you could experience in a situation. And even if the situation is continuing to go on and continuing to happen, it's more of the same, you know? There's nothing new left to learn in the situation except for to remove yourself from it or transform, do something differently than the way that you were thinking or perceiving or acting in that situation. So it's a moment where, like, of defeat, usually, the Ten of Swords, of having been, you know, betrayed or, even betrayed by our own perspective, our mind. And usually there's a lot of overthinking involved. Usually there's a lot of worry. But it's also an energy of kind of like things have been taking a toll on your body, on your mind. And it's time to pick yourself up and to move forward in some way, to empower yourself in some way. And the Tower is coming in to do that for you, to give you that push. You know, this is divine intervention. This is some type of event coming or happening right now, or maybe just recently happened, that has created change for you, seemingly without you having to even try very hard. It's like it was just almost like nature itself, Mother Earth, you know, created a new situation for you. It may have ended in destruction. Something may have ended in destruction. Something may have ended in decay or a breakdown. But ultimately, you've reached your limit. The only way to go is to move forward and to change and to understand that with your awareness that you have right now, things will be different moving forward if you just kind of pick yourself up from the ground. Some of you may be sleeping a lot or avoiding eating or eating too much or maybe doing like a lot of pot or alcohol or something like that. But at some point there has to be like a dynamic motion forward. And I think that's why the Tower card's happening at this time. It's almost like, what? Universe, you're throwing something at me at a low point. You may be saying this, but it's actually meant to push you out of that low point. So it's a blessing, you know, even if it's kind of rough. So we have the Page of Wands. That's a big difference from what we just looked at. Starting off the reading, I love this page. Looks so... well, actually, what I'm hearing from this is a little bit of self-absorption, like, and not in a bad way, like being absorbed within yourself, you know, going within, which isn't what I normally think about with the Page of Wands, but there is an inward action that happens when you're in that creative space of the Page of Wands, when you're in that adventurous or inspiration mode. It's like what's deep within you is like actually more easily accessible based off of some of the emotions or that you're feeling right now, or based off of some of the events that have caused you to feel a certain way. So it's almost like you're transforming not only by moving forward from a cycle of thinking and behaving that has led to pain and suffering, but you're also finding a way to find meaning from this, which is beautiful. So it's almost like you're finding meaning from the Tower moment. Four of Wands reversed can talk about things being out of alignment, goals out of alignment is how I usually look at it. It's a milestone card, so in order for things to be reached at the milestone celebration stage, when it's reversed, it's kind of like, you know, things haven't reached that point because you may be off track in some way. It's also a marriage, a household, a family card. So you could be talking about your home, your living situation, change in living situation for some. A change in priorities, maybe. Ooh, we have another four. We have the Four of Pentacles. There's some part of you that doesn't want to change. And that part of you actually might be what the Tower card is pushing at. Like, if the universe, your spirit guides, your higher self knows that you're not going to change a certain part of you, it'll actually push against that part of you that's solid, that's stable, that's stubborn. And that's what, you know, gains the momentum. That's what gets pushed forward. So if you felt like, if you were in a weaker position of not caring or of caring too much, to me there's stability in this low point that you have, because there's certain things that you've held on to till the very end that you know are valuable to you. Parts of yourself, parts of your situation, possessions even, or jobs that you have, a job that you have, or relationships that you have. And the universe is saying, okay, great, you can hold on to those things, but we're going to move you and those things and those people and those perspectives into a new situation, maybe even into a new environment, with the Four of Wands being here. And it's almost like this Page of Wands is a guide. It's like you're being led through an inspirational push by the universe. So obviously there's opportunity in front of you. In the past is the devil. So yeah, that's the recent past. This is what you're breaking free from. Some overly powerful, toxic influence of control and codependency and whatever you want to call it. Yeah, perhaps a codependent relationship. Two of Cups reversed in the distant past. Unhealthy attachment is how that translates. In the future is the King of Cups. So this is an interesting King of Cups. Instead of sitting in a throne, well, actually there's a question in this card. Is this person trying to go somewhere, or is this king actually exactly where they want to be? Oof, got the shivers with that. So there is like a transition, a having to position yourself in the right spot in order to catch those fish, in order to be in that emotional flow. So you may find you're being pushed into new circumstances because of that Tower, because of the change that's happening after a low point. Because you're being inspired and there's like some type of opportunity in front of you, and you know that you have what you want to take with you, like you know who you are. There's some parts of you that haven't been changing. This King of Cups in the future is kind of saying, like, you won't have to go that far in order to be in the position that's going to give you that emotional satisfaction, that emotional stability. This could be a not so long distance move for some of you if it was a personal reading, but this tower moment seems like a huge, massive change, but it might actually look like a small change. But it's a big change. Like, even if you're just adjusting or realigning yourself in your mindset, in your situation, it is divinely led. It is a fated push. The type of fate that is like given by divine justice from the universe, you know. There's fate that's written, that's like prescribed before we even get here or agreed upon or whatever. But then there's also like when you make a decision and it realigns the future potentials, there's little mini micro fates, you know, that are inevitabilities that are going to happen along your way unless you realign again and realign again. So so there's something there about like there's this situation being fated, but it's based off of the changes you've made, and that there being like a realignment at different stages. It's interesting. I mean, this could be perceived as the ocean, because the King of Cups is typically in an ocean, but to me, it actually feels like a moving body of water. Like a river. Which is traditionally the Six of Cups, but this has the Six of Swords, but this has a very Six of Swords appearance to it. So, the sweet spot that you're trying to find, that you're being inspired to go towards, is shifting constantly. So the sweet spot that you're being called towards is shifting constantly. Okay, representing you, we're going to move forward from that. We have the World reversed, which to me is like a shrinking portal to the past. The past, you know, you've really either done a lot of damage, or a lot of damage has been done, or you know, something about like there's no going back. Like the past cycle, it may be trying to repeat itself. Like you may be not fully invested in like moving forward, but the window of opportunity to like repeat a past cycle is closing. The snake is swallowing its tail in that imagery. In the environment is the Ten of Swords. So yeah, this is what it feels like, looks like to you right now. Interesting with the Four of Pentacles above it. On the outer layers of yourself, like your body may have taken a toll from this past cycle, your mind may have taken a toll, your sense of hope and inspiration may have taken a toll, but there's a treasure within you that you protected. That's what that Four of Pentacles above the Ten of Swords is talking to me about. You did manage to protect this. So you protected something very precious. We have the Page of Swords reversed in the Fears and Desires position, one of the last cards we're pulling today. You know what I'm getting from this? This is a card of learning and research and inquisitive mind, and it's reversed and the Devil's there. It's almost like you've been in a pattern or a habitual cycle of like a lack of knowledge, a lack of learning, continued learning. You may have had all the information or the wisdom that you needed to get through a cycle, and you held on to that with that Four of Pentacles. And but there's also been a little bit of like a starvation of like, continue learning and new knowledge and new information that's been blocked by this devil above the Page of Swords reverse. So just know that if you've been feeling uninspired throughout this last cycle, and even in the current moment, that there's so much more to experience and to learn, and you're entering that sweet spot. Even if the sweet spot is continually shifting like we talked about. And you've protected what's important. The outcome is the Six of Swords. There's another card that's very similar to the King of Cups. It's reversed. They're showing me in my mind, my spirit guides or whatever you want to call it. I'm seeing in my mind a whirlpool, a spiral. Perhaps the emotion is being drained out of you in that whirlpool. You've gone through like a rinse cycle, a cleansing cycle, almost like being in a washing machine, but the water level has been decreasing. So it's just a river that we're talking about here. And eventually you enter a point where like the emotions have been rotated and experienced over and over again in a repetitive cycle, that like unnecessary thoughts and feelings have been like centrifuged out of your center. So it's just like a tiny spiral at this point as you're kind of going down the whirlpool. Less and less expression of emotion, even if it feels very strong. It's like more, there's not as much like complexity to the emotion. It's just kind of like getting tighter and more confined and more uncomfortable perhaps. And then you kind of just drop into the tunnel and you come out into this vastness in the future position because you're still in that boat. And then it's just a wide open playing field, that sweet spot that we talked about. So you've been emotionally squeezed. You've been emotionally drained. You're entering a period of your life where abundance is going to start to expand. And you'll have to rely less on your spirit guides we're always relying on our spirit guides, but I mean like they're taking more of a back seat. Because they know that you have a lot of good work to do. These cards are reversed, but it doesn't mean they're not going to happen. There's a point of self-reflection coming for you as well, down after this period, after this whirlpool experience has completed. And the whirlpool is like projectile ejecting, is ejecting like pain out of you. You may have actually been accused of, or may have witnessed the fact that you've been like projecting your situation onto other people for quite some time as well. Maybe even in this last stage of development, like it may have gotten so intense in this whirlpool cleansing cycle of like getting from one, it's almost as if that Tower card isn't really a push in a direction. Even if you've been like inspired by an opportunity, I feel like it's happening simultaneously. Like I'll just kind of say this so I don't get confused here. On one level of reality here, you're moving forward because you have to in some way, but also because there's an opportunity in front of you and you can see the inspiration, you can feel it, you can hear it. There's a sweet spot. The portal is closing. Remember I said there was a shrinking portal here? It's almost like that shrinking whirlpool, getting to the bottom of the whirlpool. The past is completing itself. and you're realigning with everything that you need. Everything that you need. You've held on to what you've needed this whole time, and what you don't need has been like projectile ejected out of your aura. And there hasn't been a lot of room for new information or new learning along this process because it's been so intense and you just had to kind of hold on to the ride. But you're coming out the other side. You're coming out through the drain, out through that portal, entering a vastness, entering a new experience. And the alchemical process of the Temperance card reversed underneath the bottom of the deck is completing at this stage. Interesting reading. Okay, Scorpio. That's what I got for your reading today. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.